Skyrim is already one of the most immersive RPGs ever made, there's definitely no denying that. But let's be honest, the world as rich as it is can sometimes feel static, like your actions don't leave a lasting mark. And that's where mods come in. They don't just freshen things up, they can completely transform the experience, turning Skyrim into the living, breathing world we always imagined it could be. In this video, I'm diving into a heavily modded Skyrim setup where every decision has weight, every battle has a potential of losing a companion, and the world overall feels meaningful. And you know what else is more meaningful? Having the best browser out there, Opera GX. Big shout out to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. You and I both love scrolling through Nexus mods, hunting for the perfect Skyrim mods, but what if you could mod your browser the same way? Opera GX is the only browser that lets you customize every little detail, just like whenever we mod Skyrim. Tired of your entire PC choking just because of having a ton of tabs open? Opera GX gives you full control over RAM, CPU, and network usage, so you can now set limits and keep things running smooth. What's also amazing is that Opera GX lets you mod your browser, from theme changes, sounds, and even visuals with just a few clicks. And if you're like me who loves fantasy designs, there are a ton of it available. What's amazing that you can mix and match themes to your liking. Want everything in Barstool Baggins theme, but have the keyboard sound effects in the God Killer theme? You can easily do that. There's a lot of things you can change, from custom splash art, UI fonts, closing and opening of tab sound effects, typing sound effects, custom icons, and shaders that transforms your entire screen. That's not all. Opera GX has a built-in ad blocker and a video pop-out mode, so you can browse freely while watching a video without the need of having dual monitors. So now you can do whatever you need to do while watching my videos. Opera GX is even equipped with an import tool that allows you to quickly import all your settings from your previous browser to Opera GX. This includes browsing history, bookmarks, and even cookies. Plus, being compatible with every Google Chrome extension, I don't know what else you could ask for a better browser. So if you're ready to upgrade, use my link down below and download the best browser out there. Once again, thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. We've been playing Skyrim ever since, and I know a lot of you are already tired with the original start. I mean, I can't imagine how many times you've clicked new game and hear this line.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
Now what if there's a mod that allows you to start differently? I mean, you can still do the main quest, but you start off as someone else and not the prisoner who was supposed to be executed. Well, Alternative Perspective does exactly that. When you start a new game, you wake up inside the Resting Pilgrim. In here, you can of course create your character and get a few optional equipment to get you started. Once you're ready, on the small table you'll see a small dragon. Interacting with the dragon opens a menu where you can choose how your character will start. You can start as someone who's a regular traveler who was robbed and barely alive, part of a vampire clan, or even a member of a guild. You're now not just a prisoner this time. After choosing which start you want, you're basically free to do anything you want. You can visit other towns, level up skills, and even do other quests. What's also amazing is that Helgen isn't just a destroyed town anymore. It's a fully working town where you get to see and explore the town before it gets destroyed. There's shops for you to barter, people doing their routine, and so much more. After doing the things you want to do, you can start the main quest by simply visiting the inn. Talk to the innkeeper and then rent a room. Once you sleep on the bed, the usual intro will start, but instead of being the prisoner, you'll be a bystander who just happened to come across a live execution. Eventually, Alduin comes and the normal start begins where your life will change forever. I also just want to quickly recommend you guys to get Alternate Perspective Voice Add-on. This mod basically voices every NPCs in alternate perspective, even rewriting some of the dialogues for it to be more immersive.
Speak and fulfilled your destiny.
Seen it? There's a thief or something. He's riding in a wagon with some Imperial guards. Can we just, look at the soldiers, please?
Really? Sure. All right then, let's go. But don't get too far ahead.
Of course. Hurry!
What do you make of it?
The mod even adds a few more clutters in Helgen, even a new sign for the inn. Personally, I find it a nice way to start Skyrim differently. You get to explore the world before even starting the main quest. I mean, after countless of times playing Skyrim, I know a lot of you just want something new. After escaping Helgen from Alduin, the first town you will come across is Riverwood, and after visiting the town, you're tasked to speak with the Jarl of Whiterun to notify him about the dragon that attacked Helgen.
Not stand idly by while the dragon burns my hold and slaughters my people.
The Jarl eventually will send local guards to patrol Riverwood. But let's be honest, what can two guards do against a dragon? Riverwood has walls. A full overhaul fixes this situation by making sure that the Jarl's concern about Riverwood is actually serious. Riverwood will not only have a new lumber mill village look, but even new defensive structures that will be progressively built. Each building found in Riverwood will have a complete overhaul, offering a much better aesthetic in my opinion.
Irileth, send a detachment to Riverwood at once.
This time, when the Jarl sends reinforcements to Riverwood, they will now also be bringing building materials. So the next time you visit Riverwood, you start to see changes to the location. There are basically 4 progressive stages. In stage 1, you'll be able to see new building materials all around Riverwood. In stage 2, this is when watchtowers and gates are built halfway, laying the foundation for the defenses. While in stage 3, the gates and watchtowers are now fully built, and work on the palisades will now begin. And in stage 4, all of Riverwood will now be encircled with defenses. It's honestly amazing to see how the town progressively transforms into a fully fortified location. Especially a lot of mods usually fortifies or overhauls locations instantly. Plus now we know Jarl Balgruuf is actually taking this seriously. Skyrim Realistic Conquering is another mod I highly recommend you to have, especially if you like the previous mod. In vanilla Skyrim, clearing bandit strongholds don't really mean much. Bandits would typically reoccupy the location after 10 days, which honestly makes me think why no other groups or even a faction nearby decide to take them over. With Skyrim Realistic Conquering, some locations filled with bandits or enemies in general can now dynamically change once you clear out the location. It repopulates some of these locations, which gives a sense of seeing Skyrim become a better place. For example, when visiting Refugee Rest, the place didn't really look like a place that had refugees despite having that name. With this mod installed, when clearing both Refugee Rest and Trader's Post, the appropriate Civil War faction will take over the location, establishing a new area for refugee to camp and a base of operations where Stormcloaks are stationed to protect the new refugees. The location will not only be fortified but even new NPCs managing the area. Another example would be in Valtheim Towers. After clearing the location from bandits, the Jarl of Whiterun will be sending troops to station and fortify the location. This area will now become a checkpoint for those who wish to enter Whiterun. A small added feature is that you will have to interact with the officer if it's your first time passing through the location.
Approach. State your business.
And for the last example, we have the Ember Shard Mine. I honestly wonder how many times we have cleared this location before even going to Riverwood. Now with Skyrim Realistic Conquering, after clearing this location, the Jarl of Falkreath retakes the mine for its resources. The front entrance and exit will have guards protecting the mine, and inside there will now be workers mining ores. Overall, the actions you do as an adventurer now makes a big impact in the world, making every decision you take truly meaningful. Plus the mod being fully modular means you can pick and choose which locations will be affected or not. This is very important, especially if you have other mods that overhauls a location that the mod covers. Skyrim is all about adventuring and quests. It's no secret that its citizens would hire adventurers to do certain things. Problem is, in Skyrim, all these quests usually starts by you finding the NPC and only if there are scripted quests associated with the NPC.
Well, that's taken care of. No thanks to you.
That's where Missives comes in. If you've played Witcher 3, you'll probably find this mod familiar. This mod basically adds a localized Radiant quest that can be found on missive boards in Skyrim's major cities. These are boards where citizens can post contracts for adventures to take upon. There are a total of 264 Radiant quests, each with its own stakes, rewards, and difficulty. There are basically 5 types of quests you may expect. We have the courier quest, where you basically take an item from one citizen in the whole capital and deliver it to another citizen in another settlement. The gather quest, on the other hand, is pretty straightforward. You gather a certain number of materials for a vendor in the hold and receive a sum of gold and other useful gear as a reward. Kill quests are for the more braver adventurers, basically similar to the vanilla bounty quests. They will lead you to a dungeon in the nearby hold where you kill some enemies, then return to the store to receive your reward. Retrieve quest is pretty straightforward. This is where a citizen or court wizard may post a reward for retrieving an item from a nearby dungeon. If you return the item to the quest giver, you will receive a sum of gold depending on how difficult the dungeon was. However, once you retrieve the item, you don't necessarily need to return it. You can abandon the quest like you can with others or keep the item for yourself. However, failing to do quests can sour relation with the NPC. They can even put a bounty on your head. And lastly, we have hunt quests. This involves you hunting down an individual in a nearby hold, based on only a few locations they may visit. After successfully tracking them down, you will either kill them or retrieve something from them. This is personally my favorite as it requires you to track the individual, giving that assassin vibe. Ever since Bethesda released the Anniversary Edition, we were introduced with a survival mode mechanic. However, this was badly implemented. It became more of an annoyance than something fun to enable. If you're like me who loves survival games, iNeed Food, Water, Sleep Continued is a mod I highly recommend to have instead. It's an overall improved version if you're looking for a survival mode alternative. And yes, be sure to disable the Anniversary Edition survival mode when using this mod. Anyways, the mod introduces 3 new game mechanics. Your character will now be able to get hungry, thirsty, and of course gain fatigue. As you play the game, a HUD icon will indicate if your character needs one of those to be taken care of. If you do not immediately take care of these, debuffs will be applied to you. Hunger can be controlled by eating any type of food in the game. Of course, cooked food or heavier type of food will be more filling, while thirst can be controlled by drinking water or alcohol. What's amazing is that the mod also adds a feature where you can craft or buy water skins, which you can use to refill water in any fresh water or even wells. You can even craft or buy a water barrel from a merchant and place it basically anywhere, including your home, to be used to refill your water skins. And lastly, for fatigue, all you gotta do is sleep in any bed. What's amazing is that all these can be customized in the mod's MCM menu. So if you think your character gets hungry too quickly, you can freely adjust the values to your liking. Take notes, Journal of the Dragonborn is another mod I like to pair with, especially if you like role-playing and survival. This mod basically adds a new player journal where you can create and view journal entries you made. To bring up the journal, all you gotta do is press the hotkey. This is X by default. You can then create a new chapter and even choose a logo. After all that, you can basically just now type whatever you want in your journal. Overall, I find it a nice small addition for role-playing. I just wish we could actually drop a physical journal in-game so we can store them in bookshelves at home. Moving on, we have honed metal, NPC crafting, and enchanting services. Skyrim is known to have exceptional blacksmiths and enchanters. Nords specifically were praised for their legendary crafting skills throughout Tamriel. The problem is, not a single blacksmith or enchanters in the game will even bother to craft anything for you. All you can basically do is to buy ready-made equipment. With this mod installed, it redefines how blacksmiths and enchanters works in the game when it comes to enchanting or crafting your equipment. Without the mod, the only way we can have better enchanted gear or better equipment is to basically do it ourselves. We will have to use valuable skill points in the specific skill trees in order to craft better gears. However, thanks to this mod, we are now able to pay and request blacksmiths to forge weapons and armors. We can also request enchanters to enchant your gears for a fair price. This also includes armor and weapons added by other mods. The quality and price of their work will depend on their skills as craftsmen as well as your barter abilities. The higher the blacksmith skills, the better the quality of item they will forge. Of course, this will also mean being a lot more expensive. To simply use the mod, all you gotta do is visit any blacksmiths or enchanters of your choice. All you gotta do next is choose what you want and place an order. In case you don't have the materials, blacksmiths will use their own materials and acquire what they don't have at an expense of extra time and money. This gives them the need to order the missing materials before crafting the weapon you ordered. Do keep note though, you'll still need to provide them with rare materials in case you're crafting something that needs dragon bones, for example. The same thing's also applied for the enchanters. Enchanters will only know common enchantments, and if you want a different enchantment, you'll need to bring an item for them to disenchant. Only then you'll be able to place a custom order. In case you or they have all the materials, you'll only need to wait one in-game day for your gear to be collected. If not, you'll have to wait a bit longer. What's amazing is that the mod comes with its own MCM menu. This will allow you to customize specific gameplay features to your liking, the time required for your gear to be finished, or even NPCs having rare materials from the get-go. Overall, a must-have, especially if you want to have a better role-playing experience. We know Skyrim is a harsh world, fighting bandits, undead, and even dragons. Sometimes it can be lonely, which is why Bethesda introduced companions ready for us to use at our disposal. The problem is, once we have companions, they are basically unstoppable. Players use them to cheese fights as they basically just regenerate after reaching 0 health. Follower death and injury chance completely changes that mechanic. From the name itself, followers now will have a small chance to get injured or even die in combat. There are basically 3 possible outcomes whenever your follower's health reaches 0. For injuries, followers that get slightly injured will get a small debuff for a couple of minutes. While a more serious injury, followers will then stay injured for a couple of days, which will also decrease their overall stats. What's amazing is that you'll even be able to see their injuries visually. It's worth noting that it's best for you to send serious injured followers home to heal. Since their stats are already low, they will be more likely to fall in battle and possibly die. And for the last possible outcome, you've guessed it, followers can now die. I personally find this mod a must-have, especially since it makes your adventures more intense and unpredictable. Now you'll really need to work together with your team instead of using them as meat shields. When visiting Riften for the first time, you were immediately approached by Brynolf as he saw potential in you to join the Thieves Guild, despite your character not being fit to be one. I mean, let's be honest, it's annoying. Whether you want to be part of the Thieves Guild or not, you're immediately a potential recruit. Thieves Guild Requirements completely fixes that by adding some prerequisites. You'll no longer be approached by Brynolf as a potential recruit for the Thieves Guild. He will instead try to sell you items. In order to join the Thieves Guild, you now need to actually do a bit of dirty work. The amount of items you stole, pockets picked, and even a high sneak skill will now be the requirement before they can even see you as a potential recruit to join them. There are even other additional requirements before starting some of the quests within the Thieves Guild questline. All these can be customized in the mod's MCM menu. There are of course a lot of other features that the mod brings, such as dialogue and responses being fully voiced, adjusting the number of radiant jobs required to display the Thieves Guild trophies, and so much more. Overall, a mod I definitely can't play without. And lastly, we have Sentinel, one of the most comprehensive armor pack available on Nexus. This mod scatters a ton of new armors to a lot of NPCs. You'll now also find a ton of variations of the common armors. For example, the iconic iron helmet that can be commonly found in dungeon chests even when trading with merchants. In vanilla, these will all look identical to one another. However, with this mod installed, you now have a variety of iron helmet designs. What's amazing is that some of the unique characters will now have naturally fitting armors. For example, the orcs will now finally use proper armor depending on their role, while some priests will now have unique robes. Guards in each city hold will also have a variety of armor, and other NPCs will finally use backpacks and bandoliers. There are also new outfits for dark elves to match their Morrowind roots. You are even able to craft these armors individually. If crafting for armors isn't your thing, you can naturally find them as you adventure. Plus, the mod being modular means you're even allowed to pick and choose what armor sets you want to see in-game. And that's about it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this special episode, and if you're looking for more Skyrim mods, my channel has a ton of them. There are of course still a ton of other mods I wanted to include in this video, but I'll probably just make a part 2 if this video goes well. Anyways, thanks for the endless support, and if you haven't already, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Stay safe and happy modding!